My name is Grayson Earl, and I'm a new media artist. I work with computational media to try to provide a means for political agency for people who are using software and other tools. Some of the things that I create are tools that other people can use for political demonstrations or to learn more about technology. For me, I'm a teacher, a lecturer at a university, an artist, and an activist, and so for me, all of these things are one and the same. Whether I'm like publishing papers or in the classroom or making artworks, it's all in the service of cultural production to shift the conversation about these topics and try to insert some of my own criticisms or ideas into those discussions. Artists have spent some time looking at the way data affects neural networks, but I'm more interested in looking at the actual kind of mechanics of the network itself. So what's happening on like a structural level? What sorts of assumptions are going into neural networks and machine learning algorithms? Like if you think about the classic example of an automated vehicle, there's this problem that gets talked about where, okay, if the car is traveling down a road and all of a sudden it's confronted with a situation where it has to either swerve and hit a child or swerve and hit like an elderly person, what does it choose? And like, how do you train that? It's kind of an interesting problem, but if you sort of zoom out, the car is already making so many decisions, political decisions, ethical decisions that we haven't considered. Like, what's the optimal way for the car to be driving? We sort of assume that it picks up one person and takes them to work or something, and does so in the fastest way possible. But why isn't it considered more optimal for the car to go and gather as many people as possible and drive like slowly, So there's all kinds of assumptions that go into these algorithms, and my work, in some ways, an attempt to kind of like reveal some of those assumptions. Currently, I'm finishing up a project, a grant for artists who are working with AI and machine learning. I'm examining the way that police officers behave in video games and kind of comparing that to the way that they operate in real life and the sorts of codes that are involved in maintaining those relationships between officers, even when they overstep or break the law themselves, like how the system kind of like maintains stability through protecting these officers. I mean, in some ways I feel like this whole notion of art is becoming complicated by digital technologies because there's maybe not even any like visual or auditory component to some of this stuff. I mean, we're entering like a very post-visual era because of the way computers and networks function. It's like maybe that's where the art is located. And this was a big thing in the 60s too, right, with conceptual art. Like the art was just this thought experiment. Or you look at someone like Sol LeWitt, who was producing instructions to create a drawing. And sure, you can go and like view the drawing itself that was produced by the interns at the museum or something, but the actual art is located in the instruction set. And so I think I'm part of this lineage where the creativity, the artwork exists in a kind of like liminal space. And so sometimes when I exhibit, I'm showing documentation, or for the more recent AI work, I've produced a series of videos, and the project that I proposed here is also a video. So I'm like sort of between the two worlds a bit, yeah.